Ironweed, the bitter plant of strength, cleansing, and ancestral healing. Ironweed is one of the most overlooked healing plants growing across the South. And it's sitting right here on the land. Most people walk past it. Most people cut it down. But our ancestors understood something deeper. Ironweed is a bitter plant, a cleansing plant, and a strengthening plant. And for many families, it became the southern alternative to the African bitter leaf plant. The natural health benefits of ironweed. Let's start with the natural side, the part the land teaches you. Ironweed is a bitter plant, and bitterness has always been connected to cleansing. Bitter plants support digestion, help the body process food, and were traditionally used to help the body release what doesn't belong. Ironweed leaves were used in teas and washes in indigenous and southern traditions for cleansing, calming inflammation, and supporting the body during sickness. And because it's bitter, it signals the body to strengthen itself. Bitter plants wake the system up. They sharpen the appetite. They support the liver. They help the body clear out stagnation. This is why bitter plants were always part of healing traditions. Ironweed as an alternative to African bitter leaf. Now let's talk about the connection to Africa. African bitter leaf. Vernonia amygdalina is one of the most respected bitter plants in West African healing traditions. When our ancestors came to the South, they didn't have access to the same plants. So they found local alternatives. Ironweed became one of them. It carried the same bitterness, the same cleansing properties, and the same strengthening effect. This is why ironweed shows up in Southern folk medicine, because it filled the role of the bitter leaf plant our ancestors knew. Ironweed and cancer. The historical context. Now let me speak this clearly. I am not giving medical advice. I am explaining historical practice. In African indigenous, and southern traditions. Bitter plants were used to support the body during cancer, not as a cure, but as a cleansing and strengthening support. Family used bitter leaf in Africa and ironweed in the South to help the body stay strong, keep the appetite steady, and support the system during long-term sickness. This was land wisdom, a way of giving the body something bitter, something cleansing, something that told the system, wake up, fight, stay strong. The metaphysical meaning, what ironweed represents. Now let's go deeper. The metaphysical meaning. Ironweed represents strength, resilience, and purification. It grows in hard places. It survives heat, drought, and poor soil. It stands tall with a purple crown, the color of royalty, identity, and spiritual authority. Metaphysically, ironweed represents cleansing, resilience, inner strength, spiritual sharpening, the ability to endure hardship, the power of bitterness to purify the soul. Bitter plants teach you that not everything healing is sweet. Sometimes the thing that saves you is the thing that tastes uncomfortable. Why this teaching matters to the remnant. So why teach on ironweed? Because the remnant needs to understand the bitter plants again. You need to understand why God placed bitter plants in the land. You need to understand why our ancestors valued them. You need to understand why bitterness is connected to cleansing, strength, and spiritual clarity. Ironweed teaches you. Embrace the bitter things that make you strong. Let the land cleanse you. Let hardships sharpen you. Stand tall in poor soil. Wear your identity like a crown. Understand the wisdom God hid in the plants around you. This is not just a plant. It is a message, a pattern, a reminder that God hid healing in the land, and the remnant is waking up to it again. So in closing, ironweed is a bitter plant, a cleansing plant, and a strengthening plant. It carries natural benefits, metaphysical meaning, and ancestral wisdom. And when you understand the plants, you understand the land. And when you understand the land, you understand the God who planted it.